In this demo, I'll show you another capability of our ActiveSDN controller, which we call continuous monitoring for active cyber defense. So the idea is that if a user can log in to a vulnerable service while he can access to particular critical service, we should inspect his outgoing traffic until the session is terminated to make sure that he is not trying to indirectly launch an attack using vulnerable service against the critical service. In this case, the vulnerable service that we are assuming is Dropbox. So the first thing we have to do, we run our ActiveSDN controller. For this, we run the bash script to execute the controller. So once the controller is executed, we create this topology in the mininet. The script that creates this topology also creates two queues for each switchboard for quality of service control. So we run this script, it will create the topology. So once the topology is created, we are using H12 as our critical server and we are using H1 as our malicious host. So first we will establish a connection between a malicious host and our critical server to make the condition true as malicious host is reachable to critical server. Now, and as you can see, the controller dynamically establishes a path. Now we create two external windows, one for malicious host H1 and the other for our Dropbox server. We create two Scapy based scripts, one for malicious guy and the other for Dropbox. So the Dropbox server script basically listens on port 100 for any incoming connection and then it displays the payload that it receives in this connection. So first we run this script on our edge on our host end, which is acting as Dropbox server. The next time, the next thing we do, we run malicious script on our host one, which basically sends multiple messages to our server with different payloads. As long as the payload does not contain any malicious signature, it is forwarded. Whenever there is a malicious signature seen in the payload, the host is quarantined immediately so that it cannot communicate any further with any other host or server in the network. As you can see, once it receives that there is a malicious payload, it blocks that. You can see the messages in the log messages. You can see this in the log messages of the controller that this host is quarantined. So this was our demo for continuous monitoring.